The next conditional statement that we'll be reviewing is called as the switch statement. A switch statement can be used instead of an if else when there are way too many conditions that you have to work with. If you have one condition, you can use an if. If you have two conditions, you can use if else. If you have more than two, you can go for if else. Or you can use a switch statement. A switch statement will make your code more readable, and that is the biggest advantage of it. It is also a simpler format. So there are situations where you can find that useful. The switch statement used to be more limited in the earlier versions of C#, but now it is equally capable than the if else statement. So there should be no problem using the if else if else or the switch statement when you have multiple conditions to work with. So here's a little example to show you. I have a situation where I want to calculate the grade based upon the score. The score is a value between 0 and 100. So depending on the value of the score, we could be getting a letter grade, A, B, C, D, or F. So I've given you the grading scale over there on the screen here. This is a little program we'll be writing. As usual, before we get into the concept for the day, we have to make sure that we are setting up the basic input and doing the conversion. So here the input is going to be my score. So I have a prompt to get the score. The score is going to be out of 100. And then I'm going to be converting that to an integer for simplicity's sake. So I'm going to assume that your score is going to be a whole number. And I have my score. So I could make this as an integer. I'm going to show you how to use switch statement. Not only that, I'm also going to show you how we can use some logical operators. So logical operators are going to be and, or, not. These are logical operators. Okay, so we are going to be using them also in this particular case. Okay, so let's do the switch statement. So we are going to say this format for switch statement is switch, and then just like how we have parenthesis for if condition, we have a switch parenthesis. So inside this we say which variable we are evaluating. My score is the variable I'm evaluating. You start the parenthesis for your specific situation. So let us say your data point is a specific value. Let us say if somebody scores a 0 or 100, you want to say something about it. So if that is the situation, I would say case 100. Okay, if I got a grade of 100, I want to say you scored full grades. Something like that. So to make that code exit, I call a break. Okay, the way this is going to work, the my score will be evaluated. First statement available is to match it to 100. If there is a match, we are going to write this, and then we are going to get out of the switch statement. The break will take us all the way to line 31. Okay, always switch statement should have a default. Default is going to be like your else. The default is going to be the catch-all. So I'm going to say default catch all condition. I'm just going to put it here as a placeholder so you understand that this is required. You have to do a default. So this is simply a very basic switch statement. We have not even started adding all specific conditions. So I just want you to understand the switch is going to use a variable or an expression to evaluate, and then whatever it is evaluating, it is going to match to the case statements. Okay, and then the default is going to be the one fall through. Like if nothing else, if none of your other conditions work above, then it's going to fall through. The break statement will take you outside of the switch statement, of the switch block, and to the line right afterwards. So the break means I'm done with the execution. I just want to get out. Let's go into our actual situation here. So we want to see if the score is below 60, right? So you say case less than 60, and then you're going to build your case. So I'm going to be saying, okay, I don't have a letter grade, so I'm going to add that here. I'm going to set it to some default value to begin with. Okay, so I'm going to say my grade equal to fail. There is nothing more for me to do, so I'm breaking. Once I know my score is less than 60, I want to break. So let's keep doing this for the other situations. They are a little more tricky, but let's first copy this and then we'll go from there. Yeah, it is just saying you have redundant conditions. Okay, let's look at the next condition. Score is between 60 and 70. The grade is D. Okay, so we want grade D, which means score should be less than 70 and greater than or equal to 60. So that's exactly how you write it. This is called as a logical operator. A logical operator connects two different conditions together, and that is what is happening here. After that is going to be C. C is going to be greater than less than 80, oops, and greater than or equal to 70. That's a C. So let's do the couple other conditions. We'll do a B and a A. Less than 90, greater than 80, that's a B. Less than or equal to 100. We don't want to forget 100. Okay, so it's less than or equal to 100 and greater than or equal to 90. That's going to be A. So this is a much more readable code and makes life very easy. So this is where we have used an AND to combine two cases. We have also used a comparison operator, less than or greater than, and so we have come up with a very simple switch statement. So let's now go and like write the grade. The grade is going to be my grade okay, let's run this code. Score, so we have to like test all the different situations. So I will make it 59, that's an F. Let's make it 66, oops, 75, 88, 99. Okay, if I make it 100, okay, good. So it went through and gave us the, so you can see there is a problem here because I have this guy specifically at 100. Okay, so it did not go through this for line 41. So remember that we don't want this guy anymore because he was overriding. Okay, so now if I give 100, I should get an A. Yeah. Okay, so sometimes Replit shows errors like this that don't make any sense. So refresh the page and then it'll correct itself. Okay, good. So We talked about the logical operators, right? So let me show you how we can use those logical operators in other situations like an if condition. For example, if I score my grade equal to A, or my grade equal to B, or my grade equal to C, I pass the class, right? So I'm just going to show you when you say normally or, so you can see it's going to error out saying or does not exist. So instead of the or, you have to use this symbol. So when you use in an if condition, that's how you do an or. This is how you do an and. Okay, so we do or like that. So it says if my grade is A or B or C, I have to say you passed. Otherwise, you have failed this class. So that's the message. So we used a logical operator here. Logical operator actually like is checking if one or more conditions are happening. So you could do like if this and this and this happened, or this or this or this happened. So or and or logical operators. So there we have that one. Let's run this code. '88. I have a B and I passed this course. Okay. I want to do 40, 56. Fail. Oh, it says you've passed this course. Why? Okay, that's silly of me. I never said you failed here. That gave me a shock. Okay, the message was wrong in line 54. 56, you have failed this course. Okay, that makes sense. So that is good. So if I could do one more thing, if my grade is equal to U, so you already know this, right? Comparison operator, we have done that. So if I don't want to do this not equal to, I could do this way. If my grade is not equal to U, something like that. So I just want to make sure, like, because I assigned a U in the beginning, I want to make sure after the switch statement it is changed to one of the other grades. And you can see because I caught all my conditions, I don't have, nothing is falling through the default catch-all. Okay, so that's a good thing. So if my grade is not equal to U, it's going to say your statement works great. So I mean, this is kind of like, it's not required right now, but I just want to show you like the not equal to operator. That's it. Okay, so let's think about this. So my default, right? For example, when we write code, we make errors, right? We will forget some condition. For example, let us say you forgot to say equal to here. So you are saying less than 60 and greater than 60 and less than 70. So 60 is not at all caught by any of these conditions. So this is less than 60. The first one is less than 60. This one says greater than 60. So there is no one to catch the equal to 60. So when I run this code, okay, I say exactly 60. It says default catch-all condition, your letter grade is U. You have failed this course. So the reason why it is saying that is your particular case was not caught, so you made a mistake somewhere. So instead of that just going crazy, we have this default catch-all. So you could actually like do something there saying, please double check your conditions or whatever it is. Like you could throw an error there. So but this helps you to catch that situation. So you could use the default for two different reasons. One is so if there could be like some conditions where we could have removed this one. I could have said by default you fail. Okay, so I could say my grade equal to F. So what happens is if it is greater than or equal to 60, so it's all these conditions. So see, so what happens is the default is covering for my F. I don't actually have to specifically check for a 60 or less, but it's going to be my catch all. So what happens if you like miss a condition here? So let me run this code. Nothing is going to be different now because I included 60, but I can show you what happens. So if I have 55, it's going to say you are on F, you failed this course, which is correct. But if I made an error, like for example, I forgot this 80 equal to 80, it is still going to say I failed because it is going to go to the last statement, which is the catch-all. So if I give it as 80, you failed and letter grade is F. It went through the default. Anything that is not caught here will hit the default. And when you have these kind of unexpected results, you can always check your default to see if that is the reason why. So I'm going to fix this back and add my 80. So when you have the score as 80, you expect it to go through line 32, but you made a mistake and you ignored 80, so it goes through line 38. Okay, so just wanted to like let you know about that one. I think that's about it. So that is the switch statement. So you could have the switch statement, you do something for a specific case, for a specific value of a case. So we could do it here. So instead of this, I'm going to comment this out and use a switch statement there. Just to show you. So I could use another switch, right? Switch on my grade. So I could say case A. Break. Okay, instead of this being like an if condition, we can say case A, case B, case C. So the case is going to be like evaluating the value of my grade. My grade value is A, B, C. We could say you pass the scores, otherwise we could say you fail the scores, right? Default, you have failed this course. So here, see, we are not using any conditional statements. Here, we are directly using the value. So that is possible. Let's run this code. Okay, I'm giving you 80 as the score. You pass the score. So that's the switch statement. Second switch statement. We went through the second switch statement. First switch statement has conditional, it has the comparison operators and logical operators. Second one is really simple. It is straightforward. It's like, is it A, B, C, or something else? And then it just says that. I hope you find this video useful. Thank you.